In the world of cyber warfare, something has fundamentally changed. The biggest threat you face is no longer what's on the outside trying to get in, it's what you've already welcomed through the front door. Today, we're talking about what it takes to survive in this new age of the supply chain attack.
Let's just start with this quote, because it gets right to the heart of the matter. For decades, the entire cybersecurity playbook was about one thing: building a digital fortress. Higher walls, stronger gates, deeper moats. But that era? It's over. The old strategies are completely obsolete because the nature of the attack itself has evolved.
Yeah, that's right. The entire fortress model is broken. And you have to ask why. Well, it's because the threat is no longer some army trying to storm the castle. It's a saboteur who has already given the keys to the city. I mean, just think about it for a second. The enemy today arrives quietly, inside that software update you just approved. They're sitting silently on the microchips of those brand new servers you just installed. They hide in plain sight, wrapped in the trust you have in your entire ecosystem of partners and vendors. This is the new battlefield.
And look, this isn't some theoretical threat or a single one-off event. It is a consistent, repeating pattern of attacks. It's a strategy that weaponizes the very thing our digital world is built on: interconnectedness. Let's look at the evidence.
It all really hit the mainstream with names that sent absolute shockwaves through the industry. Remember SolarWinds? A massive, incredibly sophisticated attack where malicious code was literally pushed out through the company's own trusted software update system. It compromised thousands of their customers, including the highest levels of government.
And then came MoveIt. This time, a vulnerability in a popular, trusted file transfer tool led to this cascade of data breaches hitting hundreds and hundreds of organizations, from huge media companies like the BBC to major airlines. Just one weak link sent ripples across a global network.
And how about Kaseya, an attack on a software provider that, in one single move, crippled over 1,500 of their clients' businesses with ransomware? The scale was absolutely staggering.
And of course, who could forget Log4j? This one was different. It wasn't a flaw in a big application, but in a tiny, almost invisible piece of logging software that's used in countless programs all over the world. It was nothing short of a digital pandemic, and it proved how a flaw in one simple, common component could put the entire global infrastructure at risk.
So here's the crucial point, the main takeaway from all of this. When an adversary can poison the well, everyone who drinks from it becomes a victim. That's the perfect metaphor for what we're all facing today. Our shared digital infrastructure, that's the well.
Okay, so this is the formal definition, but what does it really mean? A supply chain attack isn't a direct brute force assault. No, it's a strategic, cunning exploitation of trust. It's the weaponization of the very connections we all rely on to do business every single day.
And that right there is the adversary's logic. It is brutally efficient. Think about it. State-sponsored hackers and global cybercrime syndicates have realized it's way easier to find one vulnerability in one widely used piece of software than it is to try and attack thousands of individual well-defended targets. They just attack the source.
So it's pretty clear your standard security measures are just not enough anymore. To survive in this new reality, we need a whole new operating system, a new philosophy for organizational survival. Let's call it the Resilience Code. It's a new way forward.
And this, right here, this is a huge shift in mindset. The old question was always, how do we stay safe? Which basically assumes you can prevent a breach from ever happening. The new, much more realistic question is, how do we stay functional? This assumes you can't always prevent a breach, so the focus shifts. It's about ensuring you can keep operating even when, not if, a trusted part of your supply chain fails.
And I really want to stress this. This isn't about going out and buying some new fancy tool or software suite. This is a strategic philosophy. It is a completely different way of assessing risk, of managing trust, and of building your systems from the ground up to survive in a world where you have to assume the well has been poisoned. So, what does this new strategy actually look like in practice? Well, it's built on 3 core pillars that, together, create a real framework for resilience.
These are the 3 pillars of the Resilience Code: provenance, verification, and continuity. They sound simple, but let's break down what each of them really means.
First up, provenance. Think of it like this: knowing exactly what is inside your digital food. It means you have to demand a list of ingredients for every piece of software you use.
what the industry calls a software bill of materials, or an SBOM. You have to understand every component, every library, every piece of open source code you depend on, because you simply can't secure what you don't even know you have.
The second pillar is verification. This is all about adopting a zero-trust mindset, or maybe better, a guilty until proven innocent mindset. Every update, every patch, every new piece of hardware has to be treated as a potential Trojan horse until you prove it's safe. That means testing everything in a safe, isolated environment, a sandbox, before it ever gets near your live systems. Trust is no longer a one-time decision. It has to be earned, over and over again.
And finally, we have continuity. And this one might be the most important. This is the ultimate test. It's about building the real, practiced capacity to survive a complete and total collapse of one of your critical suppliers. That means you're running drills, you're doing tabletop exercises to wargame what happens if your main cloud provider suddenly goes dark, or your key software vendor is compromised. Do you have a plan B that lets you stay functional? This is all about planning for failure and actually practicing for it.
And that leaves us with one final and really critical question you have to ask yourself. Your digital supply chain. It's just a part of modern life. You can't escape it. It allows us to innovate and operate at a scale we never could before. But you have to decide, is your chain a foundation that gives you strength, or is it a noose just waiting to be tightened by someone else? Answering that question, that's the first real step towards survival.